What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bible Divided Rightly, brought to you by Applied Jesus. Look, I am your host, Anwar Jones, and we are back for another episode. And today just so happens to be a beautiful and lovely day, and we gonna get it cracking in just a second, right after this commercial break. So today I have some lovely guests for you today. Look, y'all know yesterday was International Women's Day, right? Yesterday was International Women's Day. I woke up and thought today was International Women's Day. Look, it is what it is. My bad, y'all. But the reason I say that is because I want to celebrate y'all. I want to talk about y'all. I want to get up here and have the conversation with y'all about women. And who better to talk about women than women? Look, I might observe what y'all go through, but I don't really know what y'all go through. I'm not a woman, so I don't qualify to really speak about a lot of womanly things. But I went and got the heat for y'all today. I went and got the super hot fire today. So that being said, I have to bring to you two of my friends. These lovely ladies are each highly anointed in their own right. Both of them are very successful coaches, and here they are. All of them are coaches in their own right, anointed ladies. I bring to you Anisha Sharp, Tanya Townsend, and Aquila Maddox. Look, if I said y'all names wrong, please forgive me. How are y'all doing? What's up? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Y'all are muted. My bad.
Y'all.
My bad. Let's try this again. There we go. Now we can hear you. What's up? Thank you for joining us.
How can I share this out? Where do I go to find this?
That's what I was just looking for.
I'm so sorry. Wait a minute. Let's do it this way. Everybody go to the Apply Jesus page. It's Apply Jesus. And take Apply Jesus and share the video. I'm also going to take a second to share this video. But while we're sharing the video, I have a short video for you all. So, what is the value of a woman? Well, it's far above rubies. And while we're talking about how it's far above rubies, it's also more valuable than diamonds. I need you to understand that you were perfectly selected by God for this occasion. So we're here to talk about the value of a woman. We're here to talk about what it means to be a woman. And we're going to have some conversation, y'all, today. We're really going to sit down and talk about it. What's happening, everybody? I see some folks that are here in the building. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Once again, if you don't know who we're standing here talking to, we have these lovely anointed ladies. I have put their names up on the screen: Anisha Sharp, Aquila Maddox, and Tanya Townsend. Look, we finna get it cracking. I'm gonna kick it off with question number one. And I'm gonna start with Anisha. I'm gonna kick it off with question number one. And just really quickly, what does it mean to be a woman? Help me out with that real quick. For those that don't know, some folks, wake up and they think I'm a woman just because I feel like it today. So I need you to help me understand, what does it mean to be a woman?
Okay, so you're gonna start out real heavy, and I'm trying to share out. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for having us on tonight, having me, Pastor Anwar. I'm trying to not say it, but it just comes out, so forgive me. But thank you for having me. I'm super excited and so honored to be with two of the most amazing people I know, women I know who I love. I'm like, when I saw the flyer, I said, oh, these are girls I know. I love it. So what does it mean to be a woman? And that was a question, right?
Yes.
That's a big question. I think for everyone, they can answer possibly their own way or understanding. I think for me, being a woman is strength. Being a woman is power. Being a woman is love. Being a woman is kindness. Being a woman is wholeness. Being a woman is addition. Being a woman is birthing. Being a woman is assistance. Being a woman is growing. Being a woman is healing. I mean, I can keep going. I mean, I really do love women. I love that I get the opportunity to serve women, but I love being a woman myself. So, I mean, there's so many adjectives I could put there, but we really are amazing. I mean, I love men, men are great. But you know, we came in and added some sauce to this thing. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I don't know what else I can say, but yeah, we're just dope. Just to
Okay.
sum my love in one word. Yeah.
Okay, I can agree with that. I think women are dope too. I think women are dope too. Let me come around real quick. Aquila, can you help us out real quick and kind of add in as well what you think it means to be a woman?
I believe that we birth, we give life, we nurture, we take a seed, we multipliers. You know what I'm saying? We start off with something, and we can make it more. We can make it grow, as she stated. You know, we growers. But I also think that we are. I think that we are. We're powerful, and I think that we're influential, and I believe that we are also honestly created in God likeness, which means, there is an element of wisdom there, and beauty, of course, that all makes us individually unique. That makes us also attractive.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are shocked that they attract folk, but it's in your DNA, so I believe we are attractors. I think we're caregivers. But then I also, like you gave in your video, I honestly believe like there's, if it had to be, if it had to be described, or some type of placement had to be attached to it, a value placement, I do believe that we are definitely valuable. I believe that we are definitely worth, more than rubies and gold, when we come into the understanding of what that really means.
Yeah, that all of that. I agree with all of that. Tanya, help us out again. Give us one final piece on what does it mean to be a woman.
Well, my sisters have pretty much said the same thing that I would say. So I just want to echo them. Powerful. When Aquila said multipliers, I'm like, that's it right there. We are the birthing place. It's like it is. The men are the seed, but the multiplication comes from having the birthing canal.
Yeah.
And so I believe for everything in life, it has to go through a woman to come into existence. And so even when you just look at how the world is fashioned, there's always a woman somewhere in that picture to that. And because we are receptors. We know how to receive, and we know how to hold a thing in a position, nurturing, and it goes back to powerful and valuable, the same things that Aquila was saying. But we are the birthing canal to so many things. If we really understood that things are birthed through us.
For sure, that is so important. That everything that you ladies have said is so important for women to hear. That I really love that all of you have said it and said it the way that you said it. This is a beautiful thing. Just to digress for a really quick minute, I met two of these ladies, Anisha and Aquila, at a conference that we all spoke at. Was that last
December? It's December.
December. It was December, right?
It was December.
I'm not crazy. I want to make sure I know when I spoke at, because wait a minute, wasn't it at Tanya's church that we spoke at? Wow, this is a reunion. Hey,
absolutely.
Okay, got that out the way, right? So said that to say that I've heard all of these women speak and present, and I know the stock that they're coming with, right? I know what's in them. They got a fully loaded clip, y'all. So what I need y'all to do is make sure that you share this video so that everyone else can be blessed, right? Don't be stingy students. be good stewards of God's word and make sure that this gets in front of as many people as it possibly can. That being said, I want to make sure that we hit the next question. And Anisha told me I started off heavy. I don't think we're going to get no lighter. Look, I surveyed some ladies and they didn't give me no easy questions here. That's why I'm glad I'm giving the questions to y'all. I don't have to answer nothing today. This is ladies' day today. So we have the question of, how do you set strong boundaries with family in order to accomplish your goals? I'm going to start with Aquila. Yeah. I'm coming down. I want to start there. How do you set strong boundaries with family to accomplish your goals?
Well, I believe first you have to understand that family is not a vein that gives permission for disrespect. And I think that too many times the word family, although it should be heavy weighted, it's too heavy sometimes, and we give people way too much authority than we should. And so I feel like once you understand that, like, you know, that's the beginning part, is really recognizing that you're not doing your family a disservice by setting boundaries. You're not disrespecting them. It doesn't matter what title they hold. I don't care if it's mother, father, grandma. You are not, you know, disrespecting them by setting boundaries. And that's where I know, for myself included, growing up, I started being being a young adult, managing your life young. It's you struggle, like, okay, I'm an adult, but am I really? Because if I show up talking to my mama a certain kind of way, she gonna remind me how unadult I am, you know? So, so you're like, and I know for many people, you kind of grow up, and I had to grow and detach from that same perspective, you know, just really, allowing my parents and different people who were older than me have so much authority to where I felt like I was doing them a disservice. So that's one. Know that. You have to know. And Jesus gave us a good example of that.
Yeah.
Even when, he went into the town and, he was talking to folk and doing what he do. And the disciples was like, hey, yo, Jesus, your mama here and your brother, your sister. And he was like, but, I'm here to do the work of my Father. And those people also are my brother and my sister, essentially, is what he said. And my mother, who are those, unless you desire to do the will of my Father. So when you understand that, then it's not even as difficult to say, I know, Anisha gave us a boundary when she came in here. She was like, I'm in a time frame. When you understand that you're of the same mind, that's not offensive. Right. It's not like, oh, who does she think she is setting this bound? That's what he means by who is my mother and my sister and brother, except those who desire to do the will of my Father. That means you have the same mindset as I do, to where this isn't going to be looked up on as that. But when you do, you set though, even if that were the case and people find it offensive, you set your boundary because you understand what the mark is, right? What the target is. And discipline is necessary for that, Yeah. And so us not setting boundaries, we also have an example of, even all the way back to the garden, that even though Adam and Eve were family, they were husband and wife, there should have been a boundary that he set for her, right? Where it would have preserved what God was doing even in that moment for them. So you have to understand it is bigger than you sometimes. You really do. You have to be like, this is not even personal, it's purpose. Yeah. So I'm setting this boundary, not as a disrespect to you, but an honor to what God is doing in my life.
That is really good. And that is really key. I'm setting this boundary not as a disrespect to you, but as an honor to what God is doing in my life. Even when I set boundaries, I'm doing it to give God glory. Look, they already dropping nuggets, y'all. Catch them. Just do like this and just catch them. All right, Tanya, I need you to real quick hit the same question, right? How do we set boundaries with family in order to accomplish goals?
The first thing I'm going to say is for me, because, I'm a family of one. So I don't have children and I don't have a spouse. I don't have a companion. And so for me, one of the things that happens is that people tends to think that I have like a whole lot of time for everybody. And a lot of times I've also recognized that boundaries, and Aquila just said something about purpose. And for me, boundaries is realizing and understanding what your purpose is and allowing your purpose to guide your boundaries.
Yeah.
What happens is everybody don't know your purpose. So people are not respecting your boundaries because they don't understand what your purpose is.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to know. It's almost like you have to know. And I think I did myself a great disservice expecting people to understand my boundaries or needing their approval for my boundaries.
Yeah.
And my boundaries don't need approval. I just need to know what they are, and I need to do what I know needs to be done. Because I understand my purpose, I understand the timing, I understand what I need to do, and therefore I need to set up boundaries for myself. Nobody gets to approve those. Nobody gets to tell me how to do those. It's things that I establish for myself in my life. What I need to do and what should happen is that I need to constantly remind myself of what that is so that I'm not thrown off track, that I'm not distracted, that I'm not off focus.
Yeah.
And which can easily happen. When you live a life of serving, sometimes you get into a habit where you want to serve everybody.
Yeah.
You want to serve everything, but you got to understand purpose. Each joint supply. We're not called to serve everything. We're not called to serve every people. And so I think that was one of the biggest lessons for me in boundaries is understanding that I set them and I set them for myself. I don't necessarily set them for people to agree with them or even for them to abide by them. I have to remind myself, like Anisha said when she came on, that she had a time. Now, regardless if you want to respect her time or not, I'm sure at a certain time she's going to be gone, you know, and that's for her to make sure that she does.
Yeah.
So we're also the guardian of our boundaries.
Yeah.
We guard the gates to our boundaries.
Indeed. Indeed. And that's important because you have to know how to control your space, right? You must know how to control what happens around you. A life without organization and structure and discipline quickly falls into chaos. So those are all great points. I need somebody in the comments to say, wait. I want to make sure that I got it right because that was dope. I need somebody to say my boundaries don't need approval. Okay, just hashtag that in the comments real quick. My boundaries don't need approval. Look, I didn't need y'all to give me a thumbs up on my skeleton, right? Those were automatic boundaries that came with me. I don't need nobody to tell me, yo, your skeleton looks good. Nah, it's there, it's in place, it's doing what it's supposed to do automatically and giving me the support and organization that I need. Anisha, you know what's up.
Well, good stuff, ladies. Really, I don't have a whole lot to add. I mean, just to piggyback on just a little of what they both shared. Definitely, when Q said personal, that was the first thing I thought. Boundaries are personal. It's not I'm doing this because I'm trying to spite somebody or, you know, I don't want you in my life. It's just simply that it's personal. And I think that not to have boundaries is dysfunctional. It's a dysfunctional and a toxic way to live when there is no point of which it's clear, whether it's family, friends, life in general. If there is no point that tells someone this is too far, this is enough, then your life is going to be a little chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's so important, whether it's goal setting or just life in general. And I don't even think it has to be something that we have to vocalize because sometimes we just do too much. Well, you know, I'm setting up boundaries, right? No, you just live your life and people get the message.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize until Q said it, that when you asked me about my time, that I had set a boundary. I didn't even realize it. But I literally live my life in a way where I show people my expectations for myself, for what I'm allowing, and for what I'm doing and what I'm allowing in my space. I practice living my life that way. So much so I don't even realize I'm doing it. And it's healthy. It's healthy. It's refreshing. People learn how much access they have to you and they're not offended. When you start to practice that way of living, they're like, oh, shoot, I got your time today. This is good. They don't disrespect your time. They honor when they have your presence. You're doing the same. You're not, I know y'all glad to see me today. No, you're honoring their presence as well. So I think boundaries are healthy. It's a healthy way to live. I actually teach them to my children, even for their own self. It's just a healthy way to grow into yourself, and to honor yourself. And I'm telling you, the more you practice that, people respect it. They enjoy you more. You enjoy them more. I'm not going to sit on the phone with nobody for 3 hours. And when people think they have that much time to you, there's a lot of disrespect of your presence in general. So I think with family or anybody, it's just a matter of just really understanding that it's not personal, it's not disrespectful. It's a way I'm going to be functional as a human being and not deplete myself, giving people too much access that they really don't even always need. Sometimes you're just there. It is just having you there, and so that would be what I would offer to that piece.
Got you. So if I could summarize that, no pointless people.
I mean, so I don't want to call it that. I mean,
I know what you mean. I'm joking with you. I'm having fun. Look, I want to hit this next question, right? Because it is a question that I think a lot of us, male and female, struggle with, right? So this one, everybody gonna get some help on. But it was what helps you overcome fear of being great or being in the spotlight? I'm going to start with Tanya on this one.
So, say it one more time, just so that I can make sure that I'm hearing you.
What helps you overcome fear of being great or being in the spotlight? Now, before she answers this question, I just want to let y'all know, I was on a open mic line, right, with this lady here, and she tore the line. Like, I was just sitting here like, what am I listening to? Where did this? I've known her for years, but I had never heard her perform anything like this before, and it was just amazing to me. Anyway, it let me feel like she should have no problem with no spotlight, nowhere, no how. Anyway. The question. I'm sorry.
QIC you all day long. That one there. So listen, I just posted on my Facebook wall just last night. Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. At the end of that, she says, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So one of the things that I've always said is that everybody gets a spotlight.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one. Everybody just doesn't realize that they get one. And so what they usually try to do is to walk into yours, not realizing that they have a light, that they have a spotlight. They think that they have to share yours, and they don't. There's enough meat and fat in the land. There's enough for all. It's all sufficiency. It's all sufficient. If there's an abundance, there's an overflow. Amen. And people don't believe that. And because they don't believe that, they try to grab, to share, to run into, not understanding the light that they have. And I think when you allow yourself to understand the light that you possess, you give other people to do the same. And so people become an encouragement when your light shines. When I look at Anisha light shines. And so she encourages me, do the same. So it's so important that you got to be, that you got to allow yourself to be bright. I tell myself all the time, there's 3 things that I got to do. I got to be brave. I got to be balanced. And I have to be bright, because when I step into the authority of who I am, I'm giving somebody else to understand that they can step into that same authority that they have, that they possess. I think sometimes when we are afraid of our light, and I'm speaking from experience, it's because it's still connected to the approval. And at some point, you have to get to the place where you understand your spotlight needs no approval.
Yeah.
You are placed here, and you are placed. And I said it, each joint is always supplying. We all have something that is so tremendous. We all have something to give, and we all have a spotlight. So allowing yourself to just enter into it you just enter into your own light. It's nobody else's light. Nobody is holding a light for you. Nobody is saying, come here. It's your own light. You stand in that. You have to give yourself permission. And it's usually a spirit of fear that stops us from understanding that light that we all have, that we all possess. We were even informed and instructed to be light, to be salt.
Yeah.
That we were instructed to do so. So to not to do so is rebellion. You know?
That's good. Come on.
Yeah. That is quality. Look, you get your own spotlight and shine bright. Be bold, be bright, and was it be beautiful? I want to make sure I quote that right. Be bold, be bright, and
be balanced.
Be balanced. Oh, okay. Look, be beautiful too. Be bold, be balanced, and be bright, but be beautiful too in spirit. Now, I'm coming to Anisha next, but before I come to Anisha, I want to let y'all know that she is very qualified, just like everybody here, to answer this question. She runs her own conference known as the Esther Effect. Okay.
Yes.
Look. The name alone says it all. Esther means star. What do stars do? They shine with brightness attached to them. So Anisha, help us out real quick here. Do us a favor. What helps you overcome the fear of being great or being in the spotlight?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, we all run into those moments, no matter where we find ourselves, no matter what we're producing, no matter, here's the thing I love about assignments. I think that when you're clear on your assignment, you're no longer caught on fear of what people are going to think, because that's really what we're afraid of. When we're talking about being afraid of a spotlight or being in the front, we're really afraid of people saying, well, who do you think you are? What are you doing? What qualifies you to do this? We're really afraid of the people. But when we move out of the space and we understand this assignment is really not even about me, oftentimes the assignment's older than me. Oftentimes it comes with wisdom that I don't even possess. I have to tap into a higher power that don't even belong to me. So when I'm clear that all of this stuff that I'm given to do is an assignment, it don't even belong to me. It allows me to move in the confidence of him that gave the assignment and not into my limited ability or things of what I will say, what I won't say, how do I speak, what are people going to think? Because I'm now detaching myself from everything that comes with that. I think it's so neat when people say to me, oh my God, you did this great or you did that great. I got someone the other day who messaged me about a prophetic word I gave in January. I don't remember what in the world I said. And she sent me a seed for it, and thank God. But at the end of the day, that wasn't me. I mean, it was just, I allowed God to give me wisdom. I allowed God to speak through me. So I really try not to be attached to some of the things that whether it's applause or whether it's critics, because you're going to get both. You're going to get people who love what you do. You're going to get people who hate what you do. So you just got to be totally attached and just look at what is my assignment? What are you saying? And I'm willing to spend my life given the assignment. So whether you understand it, whether you hate it, whether you like it, whether you applaud it, it does not matter. Because at the end of the day, we are called to be light, but the light is to glorify him who sent us. So I'm not concerned about being in the forefront. I have been before, and we all have those moments, but at the end of the day, it's not about me. So as long as I'm mindful of that, as long as I'm mindful to continue to give the one glory who put me on the assignment, then I won't allow myself to think so much about what comes with it, what people think about it, be it good, even what I think about it. Because sometimes me and God be fighting. Like, I ain't trying to do that. I think that would be the answer for me there. It's just, really detaching yourself and understanding we're all here on an assignment. We all have an amount of time to get it done. And when we're clear on those things, we can detach from all the other earthly things that come with it. I want to have heaven say, well done. I want to have my Father say, well done, good and faithful servant. Everything else is extra. It's a bonus. It's nice. But it's just earthly things.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's amen. Amen right there. Like that. Look.
We can just go on and wrap that up.
That's good.
Just go.
Wrap that up.
Go on to the next question.
Bishop, we can wrap that up, Bishop.
All right. See, y'all slide it in there. Y'all just slide it in there when y'all feel like it. Huh? I see how y'all do it. Wrap that
on up. Put the bow on there.
Put the bow on it. I got you. Okay. So then, as almost like an addendum to that question, if you will, how do you operate in your fullest and shine your brightest without making someone else feel dim or unable to feel like they can compare? Now, I want to segue this by saying we are not in competition here, right? We are not trying to fight with one another. I promise you, there's enough room for everybody to eat. Okay, everybody can get a plate here, but you got to do it in your lane. Aquila, talk to me about operating at your best and not making anybody else feel less than. Now, before she answers, this is someone who has authored a book called No Plan B. Go pick the book up, right? Go pick the book up, No Plan B, and you'll learn some things in that book. But talk to us about shining your brightest, operating at your best, and not making anyone else feel less than.
I honestly think that's like, I'm trying to think of the word that would best describe it, but I think that's like an oxymoron. Like, I don't think that's a real thing. I don't. I think that, that's as fake as my hair ponytail. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, you know what I'm saying? I got as good a chance of making that happen as I do growing this out my head. So what does that mean? That means that, confidence is an inside job.
Yes.
And I feel like, so many times we try to take on the confidence and insecurities of other people.
Yeah.
And that's not our place. If Jesus was so concerned about everybody, like, oh, shoot, he a miracle worker. And he like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm a miracle worker because other people can't perform miracles. Let me dim down a little bit. There's still some blind people up here in the Bible that should have been seeing. Okay.
Yeah.
They would Jesus, I was on the agenda. Well, I didn't want to make Peter feel like he was inadequate,
Right.
Like, that's not a real thing. So I think that, it's really not something we should worry about. Like, you shine your brightest light. And then my prayer for those who struggle with insecurity is that you get smart and you hire a coach.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
There's two of them here, by the way.
You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
It's a couple on.
How do I point to say? I don't know.
I'm just saying, exactly. It's a couple on here. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you hire a coach that's going to help you connect to the beauty and the confidence that God has given you. We have confidence in the one who sent us. Okay. So that means that I have to show up as my best and highest self. I had to grow to get here. You think, so if I grow to get here, that means I have to start shrinking or reverse growing to make you comfortable? That's not going to happen. You don't, especially when people don't realize like what it took to get here. You know what I'm saying? I'm the shy girl who wouldn't talk in front of people, my family, let alone strangers. And then you want me to undo the development that God has done in my life to make me become comfortable in my own skin. Do you understand? Bright skin and all. You know what I mean? Like you don't understand. I wanted to be brown skin my whole life. Well, not whole, but my whole like teenage years. I wanted to be chocolate brown. Yeah. And I finally get to the place where I'm comfortable being me. You understand? And I'm comfortable being able to be the vibrant Aquila that's crazy and don't say crazy stuff that y'all think you like. This is like, yes, I said it. You don't. It took a minute to be able to go and share wisdom from in the Word of God of revelations that He's given me that somebody else may not have even seen it that way, and they got theology degrees and all that stuff. Yeah. It took time to get here, and you think to make you feel comfortable. Oh, sweetheart, that's not gonna happen. So what I would advise people to do is own your own confidence. And then we go back to that assignment, right? When God gave me this assignment to be who He told me to be, honey, listen, I'm coming here. I'm gonna be like Jesus. I came to give you sight because that's what I get to do, raise consciousness, spiritual consciousness to people. I get to restore vision all the time. And you think I'm gonna stop helping people see so you can feel comfortable with my gift? Baby, listen, that's not gonna happen. So I think what we have to do is stop trying to own other people's insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Let them and allow people to be honest with themselves. The truth really makes us free, but it also makes us well. Because if you can be free in accepting your truth, then you can say, you know what? The problem isn't everybody else shining too bright, baby. Wear shades. The problem is that you need to shine brighter, honey. You know what I'm saying? Get you some good AA batteries. You know what I'm saying? The Energizer kind that keeps going and going and going and go, because that's what we operating with. We're operating with, from a well with water that never runs out. You understand? Excitement and makes provision that we don't even see sometimes. You understand?
Yeah.
You have access to that same power, light, water, spirit, wisdom, just like we do. You do.
Yes.
That's
all I got for y'all. That's all I got.
Yes.
That was good. That was a lot.
Yes.
I told y'all, nuggets. Just hold your hands out and just start catching the nuggets. Just because they're falling left and right from everywhere on the screen. I think I'm the only one that ain't dropping nothing right now. They are dropping nuggets left and right. Look, this is crazy. But I actually want to move into a different question. I'm about to start doing rapid fire, okay? And each of y'all finna get one question, and I'm finna do rapid fire, okay? All right, so I'm coming to Anisha next. What do I do to uproot the seed of doubt? Now, I want this to be very clear because oftentimes we live in a society where we are dealing with the enemy's narrative on a consistent basis, okay? Now, dealing with the devil's narrative and the enemy's narrative is not always the easiest when it comes to trying to overcome it. But I just want to say this to segue into Anisha. We have to remind ourselves of the Lord's narrative, okay? What he says about us. Now, I'm sorry I had to drop that out there before I pass this question on to you, but I just want this to be clear because there's somebody who's watching this and trying to figure out some other things. And I felt that to drop that. Now, what do I do to uproot the seed of doubt?
Great question. I think a lot of times doubt comes from things that have already been in place, and you called it a root. So that means there were things that were spoken before the person even got ownership of themselves, before they even were able to say, this is who I am, this is what I enjoy, this is what I'm developing into. So when we're talking about dealing with seeds, we've got to go back to the history of the seed. So where did the seed originate from? And as you're beginning to look at where that seed originated from, you got to look at how it was planted. Was it words? Did someone tell you that you couldn't do something? Did someone call you certain names? When you had an opportunity to do something, was it taken away because they doubted your ability? So looking at, where was that root placed at? And then once you become aware of the words or things that were spoken, you can denounce those things. We have to understand that we have the power to decree and declare and establish specifically over our own lives. So if you recognize that you're doubting yourself, you got to then begin to look at, okay, where did this come from? Is this who is this from? Dig those things up, and in its place, begin to speak words of encouragement over yourself. Begin to speak life over yourself. We're always looking for somebody to prophesy, give us a word. Prophesy over yourself. Speak life into yourself. Speak faith into yourself. Speak what you want to say into yourself until you believe it. And if anybody comes into agreement with something different, you correct them. And if they don't receive the correction, you avoid them. We don't recognize how important it is for us to feel about us, because we are the root of which everything comes out of our life. We are our own life factory. And so until we're willing to make sure what's in the factory is healthy, what's in the factory is whole, so I can produce the life I desire for myself, we're going to always be at a disadvantage. So, really doubt is just dealing with some of that old, if it's a root, dealing with some of that old stuff. Sometimes it's going to be a deliverance issue, and that may go beyond you if it's that deep. But a lot of times we just got to identify certain things, begin to address it. And then those people who want to continue to introduce something in your life that you do not want, correct them. If they don't receive the correction, avoid them. And I don't mean avoid them in terms of I'm hiding from you, but just letting them know you don't have access to my life in that way.
You know what? You just sparked something. I'm gonna do a second part to this question. Tanya, I'm directing this at you. Anisha spoke very clearly about sometimes it's a deliverance issue, right? Talk to me about deliverance, because this is something that we run into on a regular basis. We've been struggling, we've been chained, we've been shackled down, and sometimes we need to be delivered. But sometimes we don't realize that we've already been delivered. So can you help me out and talk to me about deliverance really quickly?
Well, I think that there's a couple of ways with deliverance. Like one of the things that you just said is sometimes we don't realize that we've already been delivered. So then there's an agreement that you're not in agreement with your belief system. So I also believe that there are some things that are progressive. I think about Jesus with Mary Magdalene. He talks about how he, cast those spirits out of her. But then also I look at the fact that of who she was to Jesus. There's 12 verses with Mary Magdalene in the Bible. And with those 12 verses, I mean, she was the one who was there at the crucifixion. She was the one who was the first person at the tomb. She was the one who went to go tell the disciples. And the role that she had played in Jesus's life was just so incredible and so phenomenal, because she came into agreement. She lined up with who he is and everything that he was to her. And so I think that deliverance is merely just your belief statement. Like, what do you believe? Do you believe that you're healed? Do you believe that you're set free? Do you believe? What is your belief statement? What do you say? Does a person that's healed from something still walk around and talk about how sick they are? When your belief statement has to come in agreement with your deliverance. You can't cry, I'm delivered, but then yet my talk, my speech is still bondage. Everything about me, I still look bound. I'm still, I still smell the same way. So the deliverance that you have should start lining up with your speech. It should start lining up with everything about you. Your fragrance change. And so, but that's an agreement. It's you agreeing. And the reason why I said that there's multiple components to deliverance, because I actually came from a deliverance ministry. So, I mean, we believe in, let's go forth, let's cast this thing out. We'll stay here all night. We'll tarry. Yeah. So I'm from the tarrying time. Let's tarry. Yeah. So I know that there are some things where there's just some really, really great oppression that does happen with individuals that will require us to really speak the word of God over people until they can receive it and grab hold of that word. I believe it was Anisha that said earlier, or either it was Q, I don't know, but the freedom, who the Son set free is free indeed. But understanding what that freedom, what is freedom to you? What is the freedom in God? What is that? So it's like either you're going to believe God and walk in your deliverance, walk in the authority of who you are, or you're going to believe in the father of lies, and you're going to, walk in what he says you can have and cannot have.
Wow. And look, y'all, they still dropping nuggets. I need y'all to take a second and hit the share button. If you haven't already done so, just do me a favor, go and hit the share button, because these ladies are blessing our souls tonight. Okay, so I need us to get on one accord and make sure that this message reaches as many as it can. I said it before, do not be a stingy student. That is very important here. Please don't be a stingy student. Aquila, I got one for you. I got one for you. How do I communicate my worth effectively to other people?
How do I communicate my worth effectively to other people?
Yes.
I believe that's more of a, what comes to mind first is actions speak.
Okay.
So when I hear communication in the context of your question, it's going to be spoken through action.
Okay.
how do you present yourself? Not just what you say. Because sometimes have you ever, in fact, this happened to a friend of mine recently. She went to a hotel and she said, Quila, she came to visit here in Dallas, and she's like, I got my hotel for free. I said, you did? She said, yeah, because what they told me in the pamphlet online or whatever, like online, their description and the pictures, it didn't match. So there are many times that people can communicate that this is what I'm worth and not be a reflection of that when people come in contact with you. And so I believe that, our worth is going to definitely be reflected in how we manage and carry ourselves. I think that it goes back to things like like boundaries. Because that means that my time is worth something, that I have to allocate it to certain things, understanding how precious it is. We don't have a lot. We got a lot of it and we don't have a lot of it at the same time. I think that we communicate our worth effectively to other people by who we give ourselves access to. Anisha stated that, like, everybody doesn't deserve access. When you think about the most valuable diamonds, that are worth the most, those are not what sit on top of the counter at the jewelry stores for you to be able to put your fingers all on them. They're locked behind and they got keys around their wrist because they don't even want to accidentally leave that key down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can stick your fingers or something. They don't want that. I'm not even giving you the accidental opportunity to take what's worth it and valuable from me, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's a matter of how we manage ourselves and the discipline that we have. I'm listening to a book right now called Worthy. And it's a dope book. But it's what's so funny is she said in the very beginning of the book, the person that actually did the the foreword, she said, when you understand your worth, then you realize that you can't just feed yourself anything. You don't just allow yourself to not work out. You take care of what you know is worth it. So if you think about diamonds and stuff like that, if you think about the way people handle their car, they go and make sure that it's cleaned and they make sure it's pristine and shiny. But if we could only attribute that same practice to our personal selves, that we, then we would, to me, I believe, effectively communicate our worth and how we care for ourselves, how we manage our health, how we manage our mental health, how we manage our emotional health, how we manage our spiritual well-being and our strength and our confidence. Because I also, people will say, I believe, my spirit is sick. And I believe when we live in the spirit of God, there's no sickness there. So I believe that God has nothing but the best in his spirit that lives in us.
Yeah.
Now, if we go assuming other stuff, that ain't what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the spirit of God that lives in you as well.
Come on.
It's whole, it's healed. It's perfect. But it's your flesh, your mind, your will, your soul, and all of that has to align with the greatness that lives inside of you. Greater is he that is in me. You have to align with that. And that's what provokes us changing our actions, managing our disciplines, our boundaries, our access, and so on and so forth. So I believe that we really become a reflection. We're not going to just be a pamphlet selling a really great mansion and then you going in there getting a shack. We ain't going to be cubic zirconia, baby, looking like we hitting it and then the light shine on us and we missing the rainbow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be a real authentic reflection of the greatness that lives inside of us, which allows people to understand, I want to say a great man that I know. You know what I'm saying? Prophet MC Hammer. You can't touch this. Okay. Like you just don't get access to everything.
I swear I love her.
You call the prophet.
Prophet MC Hammer.
I love
prophet
you. Let me tell
MC Hammer.
Anisha, you know I couldn't resist.
I know. I saw you looking for it too. You was like,
yeah.
I couldn't resist. I was like,
That was good. I want to actually touch on something that you mentioned, which is diamonds, right? I don't know if you ladies know, but I used to manage a jewelry store for quite some time. That was a good portion of my life was spent in the jewelry industry. And one of the things we used to do anytime somebody requested a diamond or to see a diamond was when we took it out the case, we had to wipe it off first before we could hand it to them. One of the reasons that we did that was to make sure that they weren't getting something that had oil or fingerprints on it, because we didn't want to block the shine, right? We wanted to make sure that when it got on their finger, they saw the product as clearly as it could possibly be seen. My question to who's watching right now is, are you allowing God to wipe away all of the dust and dirt and nastiness that has been building up on you over time as people have been coming through and trying you out, right? Have you been allowing God to work on you and really clean that stuff off of you and out of you so that you can look and feel your best when you are displayed before the world? Now, I want to move on. We don't have a lot of time left, but I have two more questions that I want to get out, right? And then we're going to close out, and I'm going to ask each of you to give one performable action that all the ladies watching can do, that they can start doing today. Okay. Now, Anisha, do me a favor and help me to understand, because Aquila she told us, Prophet MC Hammer told us, you can't touch this, right? You can't touch this. Help me to understand really quickly, how is a woman of God supposed to interact with other people? Like, what is that supposed to look like when she presents herself to someone else? And so that I give some context to the question, because I like to make sure that we all have clear understanding. How is she supposed to make sure that she's presenting herself in godliness in all of her interactions with other people?
Okay, wow, that's a big question. I think one of the first things, and let me just say this, Anwar. Let me say this, because I really try to come from a place of being balanced.
Yes.
I think sometimes we can be so, and y'all gotta let me just be myself. Sometimes we can just be so religious that we don't have freedom to simply be ourselves. And so God made every single person, those who will never even those who will never even accept Jesus Christ. He made them. He made them hoping one day they would meet him. When we do meet Christ, there's an identity that is unlocked, but there was one we had before Christ. And so one of the challenges is allowing God, even if you grew up in church, you could have grew up in church and you were baptized at, 1, 2, whatever. There's still a point where you have to recognize for yourself who Christ is for you. So when you recognize that, you allow him to show you who you are. So it's not a bunch of religious behavior. I look like I'm saved.
Come on.
I dress like I'm saved, but I get home and I may cuss you out and I may, whatever it looks like. So it's not a thing of us appearing to be something. Yeah. It's a thing of allowing God to show us who we are, to show us when he looked at everything he made, he said it was good. He made it with fear and wonder, and allowing him to unpack for us, God, who did you say I am? What does it mean to be Anisha? Beyond just showing up as a woman of God, who did you say Anisha is? And what does that look like? How do I properly represent now that I understand who I am? Now that I have my identity, how do I now represent you? What does it look like to move beyond this is Anisha, but then what does it look like to represent you and not just the people, that I'm satisfied representing you to myself? We get so caught up on making sure people see us away. And we're not even sure if we're comfortable with how we see ourselves. So I think until we take ownership, God, this is who I am. This is who I enjoy being. This is how you made me. Now show me what it looks like to show up for you, for me first.
Yeah.
When I can show up for you, for me first, then I can be comfortable showing up for me, for you, from all of y'all people. None of y'all matter to me first.
Come on.
It matters to me what God said about me first. It matters that I please him first. If y'all like it, wonderful. If you don't, I'm sorry, not really, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? So we've got to stop trying to have an appearance of godliness and having no fruit therein. You look godly, you look holy, but child, you ain't got no fruit. Man. So the thing is, we have to start being comfortable with what God said about us first and being excited about that. And then, God, what does it mean to show up for myself and for you behind closed doors when nobody's looking? I'm not trying to, look like I pray 12 hours and at home I only, talk to God a minute. Like we really have to have these real conversations with ourselves, because a lot of times people need real help, but because they haven't felt comfortable saying I really need help, because we got to look away. And you got all these broken, wounded people and leaders all bleeding on each other, and everybody's sick.
Come on.
I think it's just the issue of us really being good about who we are, letting God show us who we are, unpack that, and then being celebratory with him first. And then when I come out of being with him first, I give y'all what's left. And I hope you like it.
Wow.
And she said you could take that to the bank.
There you go.
I'm telling you, that is 1,000% bankable all day long. But I really have no other words. This is amazing. I just did a time check, and look, y'all, it's an hour has pretty much passed already. We have reached our time. I'm sorry. I want to give y'all more. I really do. Like, I want to give y'all more, but we have reached our time. And I just, wow. And here's the thing. We didn't get through a third of the questions that I have. That we really just scratched the surface. So if these ladies are up to it, we can come back and do a part 2 on another day. But this, like I thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here and for giving your time. I understand it's valuable, and you didn't have to do this, but y'all came through for this. So thank you very kindly for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The pleasure was mine. That being said, one thing we always do here is open up the altar for an altar call. Now, that being said, if you're here and you were listening and you heard the word, that means that you heard God. He pricked your heart today. If God ain't never spoken to you before, he spoke today. And I want you to know that you have an opportunity to come before him now. At this very moment, you can commit in the comment section. You can let us know, I'm ready to commit. And someone from our team will reach out to you and let you know, hey, here's the path. Here's what you can do. And we can connect you somewhere where you can begin to walk out your salvation in fear and trembling, so that you can begin to operate in the holiness and the beauty of holiness that these ladies have informed us about. So if that's you, if you're somebody who's saying, man, I want what these ladies have, because they have a boldness and a confidence and they're just letting their light shine, you can do the exact same thing. There's enough room for everybody to eat, and you can be just as beautiful as they are in body and spirit. So I want you to understand that there's enough room for you to sit at the table with God as well. So if that's you, make sure you comment in the comment section, I'm ready to commit. Now, for anyone else that's here, that's watching, that's taking a look, I just want to make sure that you understand, if this particular panel, if you were blessed by what you saw here, then go to Cash App, type in $ apply Jesus, and sow whatever you feel free to sow. We don't make any demands here. We just say if this was a blessing to you, then you can sow, because that allows us to continue to do the giveaways and things that we do. But other than that, Anisha, Aquila, Tanya, I thank y'all for y'all time. Y'all have been awesome. And we are going to tell the people bye-bye.